Okay, but the first thing we can say about this car is it has absolutely magnificent road presence. I get the opportunity to drive a lot of these being a used car salesman, and the only one out of all the Range Rovers that's really caught my attention up to now is the HSE Sport Supercharged with the 5-litre V8 engine. The interior of this car is absolutely wonderful. It just oozes luxury. It's just so nicely put together. It's a very blingy vehicle. It's absolutely gorgeous. In terms of comfort, it is pure luxury. You're extremely high up. Your visibility is pretty much like you'd get driving a large van or even a small truck like a 7.5 tonner. Visibility all around the car is excellent. The wing mirrors are at the perfect height. Very large wing mirrors too, so you'd have no problems towing of anything with this, especially like a caravan. This car has more features on it than I could care to mention, but this isn't really what it's about. It's about what it drives like. Very, very smooth. I've had some bad experiences with these cars with the diesels. The diesels, you go around the corner and you struggle to stay in the seat. The lean on them is terrible. It feels like you're driving a barge. This particular model doesn't have that effect. It's you go around the corners. Okay, you're aware you're in a big car, but it's no way as dramatic as it could be. Very, very smooth. Very, very balanced. The suspension on this car does boat a bit, but I think you've got to accept that, because at the end of the day it's a very, very large vehicle. I think you're exceeding 2 tons with this vehicle. The kickdown on this car is very, very, very smooth. It's not an enormously powerful engine, but you know it's got enough power there to pull something across a field if it needed to without any trouble at all. I have to keep coming back to the visibility on this car because it really is amazing. It's quite wonderful to be driving down a motorway and be able to see over the top of everybody. I can literally see 2 or 3 miles down the road and the road's perfectly straight. The engine, very, very quiet. If you accelerate, you just get a gentle purr, like now. I mean, you can barely hear it. It's that silent. One thing I can say now is I'm sitting here driving this vehicle, and the dials, even though the dials on the dashboard are very, very clear with their design, the top half is blocked. It's blocked by the steering wheel. Now, I get this more and more in cars, even Mercedes, and I think it's a very, very bad design. I know the cars cannot be designed to fit everybody, but at the end of the day, the one thing you are going to be wanting to look at is the dials on the dashboard. So at all costs they need to be visible, even if it means relocating them and putting them in the middle of the dashboard. The leather seats in this vehicle are absolutely wonderful. They really are beautiful. It has a fantastic gear selector, which I can only think I've seen these in Land Rovers and Jaguar. The gear selector is actually more like the volume control on a stereo or something similar. Beautiful armrests. I could drive this car a couple of 1,000 miles without a blink of an eye. It just feels amazingly relaxing to drive. Whereas, as I say, some of them are very tiring. This one's got fantastic suspension. It really has. It's built with luxury in mind, but at the same time it is a workhorse, and a very good workhorse. And even though I'm not driving across a field now towing some heavy machinery, I can honestly say that this feels like it's built for that too. It's got the combination of both, so beautifully balanced. As you accelerate, the changes through the gears are effortless. It's almost unnoticeable at times. You know, considering this is a big hefty diesel, I have to say that the quietness of this, the silence of this engine is just amazing. It really is. I mean, this is a recent vehicle, and even with the window down, you know, you're really not hearing this engine at all, and that's what you want. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's fantastic. Just going to do a brief 0 to 60 test. Go. That's 60 now, and that's this 2.5 ton vehicle, great big diesel engine. That's pretty impressive, actually. The braking on this vehicle, I think, is good, but I don't think it's mind-blowing. You know, it doesn't feel like it wants to stop. So I wouldn't say the brakes are poor by any means, but I wouldn't say they're great. Yeah, I wouldn't say they're fantastic. They do feel controlled, but I think you really begin to explore the weight of this vehicle when you try and stop. So I can say a lot of good points about this vehicle. I think if you're buying one, you certainly won't be disappointed. But whatever you do, don't go for one of the slower, cheaper diesels.